A scientific con game. This is going to be part A because I've got a lot of stuff to cover in a second video, but I wanted to look at a couple of things right now and do a shorter video, hopefully. I'm going to read a couple verses first, and then I really want to look at some crazy stuff that science, or at least pseudoscientists, would like to contradict. 1 Timothy 6:20 says this, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings, and oppositions of science, falsely so called. The Bible isn't at all against science, but it is against science that's falsely so called. And there's so much science that is falsely so called. Psalm 19, 1 through 6. These are some very critical verses that I think every person ought to really pay a lot of attention to, because it says so much about things that we don't think enough about, especially anyone who believes in a heliocentric type of a universe with the earth spinning around and going around the sun. And that's kind of what this is focusing on today. Psalm 19, 1 through 6. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. There is no speech, nor language, where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoicing as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. And like I was saying, we'll look a lot more at some of these scientific issues in the next video that I shoot, which will probably be much longer. But the Bible is very clear that the earth is the center of the universe, that everything revolves basically around the earth. The sun is actually going around the earth, and the earth is motionless. If you go back to Genesis, the very first verse, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. The sun, moon, and stars aren't created until day 4. But one of the things that I wanted to look at specifically is something that woke me up pretty early this morning. There's one easy and very quick proof that we live in a geocentric universe, and that the earth is not moving at all. And here's the thing that woke me up. If you look up at the sky at night, you see the stars, and the stars don't seem to move very much at all. If the earth was spinning around once a day, every 24 hours, then every star in the sky ought to be off position every couple hours by quite a few degrees. If you've got 360 degrees in a circle, in 1 hour, you've got 1/24th of that, so I think that'd be about 15 degrees that every star in the sky should have shifted if the earth were spinning around every 24 hours. But the earth is motionless. Also, in these verses that we looked at, it talks about the sun is moving. We find in Joshua that Joshua commanded the sun to stand still and the moon to stop. In a geocentric or heliocentric worldview, either of those require God to do some pretty big things. In a heliocentric, God's got to stop the earth from turning, and got to stop the moon from going around the earth. But in a geocentric, God literally does do what the Bible said he did. He stops the sun from moving and stops the moon from moving. And so, but I just wanted to point that out because I haven't seen anything yet myself that has pointed to that. But I believe that God was really kind of getting to me this morning and tapping me on the shoulder, because when we look up at the stars, we do not see them move much at all in hours and hours at a time. We can look up and they're in the same position, and that proves that the Earth is not moving. The Earth is very much stationary. And we'll look at a whole lot more in a video that I'll shoot maybe in another week or so. But thank you very much for your time.